Jordan Peterson represents righteousness. And righteousness, who says righteousness, says also leftiousness. So Jordan Peterson represents righteousness, and he is countering leftiousness, which in his brain is unrighteousness. And he's on a quest to be righteous. And one thing is for sure, the righteous is very self-centered, because he is ordained by life or God to help change humanity, to go from the darkness to the light, and he is putting on his back the problems of the world and the pains of the world, because he is a savior figure of some sort. That's a righteous individual. Now, I respect any person who believes themselves. I don't care. Judgments aside, in reality I have no judgment and couldn't care less. It's not my problem. But I can diagnose if you like. But any person who believes in what they're doing, I cannot but respect. So I cannot but respect that individual. I can also see how it takes him out of balance. But he's not seeking balance. He's seeking to be righteous. And we just said it. It's in the word, righteous. Well, what's right? The opposite of left. What's right? The opposite of wrong. Have you ever spoken to wrong? Do you think wrong thinks it's wrong? Do you think left thinks it's left? Left doesn't think it's right also? This is just me having fun with words. No, it's nonsense. So I've studied this very well. I've studied the case within myself also. As you navigate through the mind and you go through your own mental layers and you discover their polarities, but then you're stuck, you're a prisoner. So he's a prisoner of righteousness, like I told you. So he has to fight against leftiousness. Who's going to win? Let's pretend that right wins. Here's what's going to happen. Right is going to win for 1,000 years until left recoups. Right goes too out of balance, left recoups, rebuilds, and swings the pendulum back. So now you're stuck in this left, right, which means you're stuck here. But what if this is just an illusion? And there's a deeper reality which would render this obsolete, it doesn't even exist. What does that say? And how do you find peace and harmony when you're either right or left? You don't. So I don't care about being righteous nor leftist. What I care about is my harmony. And I've realized that I don't find harmony in being right or left. So I respect people who want to be right, but I sympathize with them. But I'm a doctor, I diagnose, I can see. You can even if you've studied him, you studied his journey and his righteousness and how his righteousness pulled him into the universe, and everything is justifiable. And I'm not here to disregard anything. Yeah, but it's taken him so out of balance that he collapsed and was in a coma for X number of years. So now then he recuperates, gets back on the carousel, because more than ever, he's needed. Yeah, because the world is becoming more insane. So in his world, his importance has grown. So it's going to take him even further out of balance. Maybe now he's learned better techniques to keep himself functional. But sooner or later, it'll collapse. It's obvious. Look at the amount of pressure he takes upon himself. He is the one who has to change the world. He has to change humanity. He has to change Canada. That's a lot of pressure. Maybe he's the man for the job. What do I know? I'm not. I don't care. I wish him the best. If I can be of service to him, I gladly will. But I will not, let's presume for the sake of conversation that I met this person. I'm not even going to applaud his righteousness. I'll sympathize with the human who at this stage in life is taking a righteous position. But I'm here to serve the human, and the human is neither left nor right. So in my exchange with him, I would help him relax from his righteousness to get a greater perspective. And when you get a greater perspective, your sense of righteousness or leftiousness diminishes, because you see bigger picture, and in a bigger picture, there's a greater reality in which left and right are just left and right hand. I've said this very often. People are upset. The left-wing politics, right-wing politics. I'm like, who the fuck cares? There's a fucking bird. Why is nobody concerned with the bird? Isn't it weird? This is the left wing and the right wing. I'm like, who cares? There's a bird. Who's the bird? What kind of bird? Who owns the bird? Where's the bird flying? I, like everybody, like many people, wanted to know what's going on with the world. So you start studying and learning, and it takes you down a rabbit hole. But my interest has always been, what's the core issue? Right? So you arrive at a layer and you see a problem. It must be that fault. So for example, the doctor, you have an infection, comes here and determines that the cause of your problem is a bacteria or invisible virus. Fine. Is it right or wrong? Whatever. From that level of perspective, it seems to be correct. Then he gives you an antibiotic or whatever it is that he gives you or she gives you, and it remediates the problem, at least in appearance. But then you can ask yourself, well, is that really what's happening? Is that really the issue? Then you go deeper, and you go deeper. Then you have to decide, well, do I want to remediate the issue at there's a virus that's bad, we're good, I'm good, we attack the virus with righteousness, which is a medication? Do I want to work at that level? No, I don't want to, because I'm interested in a genuine remediation. I want to actually discover the solution to the problem, at least for myself, right? So I can't stay there. I'm not content with that. So I go further. So that now world starts to fade away from me because it's not true. It's true only if you're in it. If you go bigger, it's not true anymore. And I don't want to work and serve at that level. Now some people do, and I respect that they do. And it may be considered necessary at this stage, considering the level of suffering that people are undergoing due to how far out of balance they've become. Fine, but I don't want to serve that level. Because it's not true. It's not absolute. And I seek absolute. People are scared of the word absolute. No, I want what's the actual cause, the primary cause. So I will go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. And that's what I seek for myself. So if I want to provide a solution, I want it to be the solution that means that addresses the core of the issue. That's me. That's my quest. Now, there's all kinds of people that want to work at whatever level. That's their business. But from my perspective, this seems, well, it's great. So what's the issue here? Kill the virus. You haven't solved the problem. But for a minute, you've solved the problem. So the world is too much left. Bring in Jordan, who's bringing more rightness into the equation. I've listened to him. I study any person who's worthy of studying. This is a very intelligent fellow, very sharp-minded. Now, if I broke down how come he thinks this way, we'd understand him in a very different light, which I don't want to do, and I don't want to disrespect that individual. But that's not. I don't want to operate at that level, nor do I want that war, because I don't believe that that will solve the issue. Because I've understood the system. I'm an engineer. I studied the machine. What's the issue? That's not the issue. So why am I going to expend all my energy and my creative capacities at a level that, in my understanding, doesn't solve the problem? No, I want to go at a deeper place. But in the meantime, we meet people who want to operate there. So I can respect them. I can respect a person who's a genuine leftist and a genuine rightist, because they are both going to bring in genuine perspectives. Not those who are out of balance. Those who are genuine in their involvement at that level. I can respect everybody. I genuinely do, because I can see the sincerity at their level of understanding. It's not for me, because I know for myself, and I ain't trying to sell it to you, because it doesn't matter to me what you believe. I'm not devoting myself to this. That's not where the solution lies. So that's why I say, if I can be of service to that person, I gladly will. And how am I going to do that? By being an antagonist or protagonist? No, I'm going to help that person relax more into themselves, so that they can better feel themselves and what they stand for and why, and be more relaxed about it and more fluid, which will make them a better version of Jordan Peterson. That's the service I can provide if they would require my service. Let's pretend, right? But I'm interested, I want to discover the cause, the root cause of things. That's me, that's my quest as a seeker. So I go deeper and deeper and deeper. So that's why I share the things that I do. And this is a perspective, there's a deeper perspective that I hint towards here and there. Well, not here and there, it's always there, it's underlying everything I'm saying, right? But for the time being, we're talking about to men, and we're using sexuality as our basic premise to unfold the mysteries of life to the best of my capacity. By the grace of God, thank you, Lord. Yeah, if you understand what I mean. So what did I understand? The core of the issue is the sexual dynamic stemming from a primary lesion, which is spoken about literally in the Bible. Right? So you have to understand this. There's a reason why it's spoken about. It's the first thing spoken about after God created everything, created him and her. And here we go. So what does that really mean? So that is understanding sexual dynamics, understanding what is a man and what is a woman and what's their actual capacity. And when you don't understand that capacity doesn't disappear. It's not unconscious. And if it's unconscious, that means it's being utilized by something else. A virus. I don't like the word, but let's use a virus. Another mind is using it. And it's therefore creating the world that we're living in. So what's the core of the issue? Well, it's told to you in the Bible. You just don't understand what's being said, or you don't like the Bible because it offends you, or you take it and you make it into something that it's not. But it says so. Obviously, because sexuality is what creates everything. So if the world is the way it is, it's because there's an issue between the man and the woman. Now, what's the cause of the issue? That's taking us to the next level, because addressing that there's an issue is one thing. Well, what's caused that? So this is where I like to bring in a little juice and share to the best of my capacity with people that because the man and the woman don't exist on their own. They're not ends unto themselves. They're subjects. They're subjects of something greater. So that's why I speak about nature, the goddess, who's birthed both. And then the goddess, now the understanding of the goddess and where is the goddess and who is the goddess and her mysteries and whatnot can invite us to even greater conversation, which I've had in different videos earlier when the channel started. So I'm not disregarding all those things. I do, but now I'm trying to have a conversation that's more or less understandable by your average person. Whatever, right? Because this is the core of the issue from my perspective. And the understanding from that level doesn't make me, it allows me to understand the state of the world we're living in. That it's intelligent also, because the nature, men and women live and belong and are owned by nature. And it's nature's mechanism through time that has created the world that we live in today. So what we see today is not a fault, it's not a mistake, but there's a form of disalignment. And my job is not to align it, my job is to facilitate alignment for those who seek it. Because it's a question of time. So at the end of the day, time is God. And nature is unfolding around time, on time, in time, right? Blah, me and my stuff. So I don't feel the urgency. I'm not against the system. I'm not against the disease. It's the time of the disease. I respect the disease because nature has birthed the disease. There are people who are suffering, and there's, in this day and age, a billion infinite palliative solutions. I, as a medicine man, seek the medicine, the true medicine, not a palliative medicine. I have nothing against palliative medicines, and I can use palliative medicines in a structured, organized, methodic healing journey in order to help a person appease their suffering as they're processing towards something deeper. All of this to say, I have nothing against the disease. I don't fight against the disease. I have no issue. It's its time. However, health is always underlying. So I serve it. And if there's people who have an interest towards this, at this stage, to the best of my capacity, I share a voice, a sound for those people who are looking for that level of wisdom, if I can give myself that level of credit. That's it. I don't want to fight against anything. I don't believe in it. Nature is not fighting against herself. That's why you need a bigger perspective. There's only one. So if we are in the age where it's upside down, it's because it's designed. So I've studied it. I've studied myself and I've studied life deep enough to understand those mechanics, which has appeased in me not only my mind, my emotional state and whatnot, so I can accept, keyword accept, the nature of reality, even in its time. So I don't have a righteous quest, but there's a story. And this is where we're at in the story. And to whatever capacity I'm granted of greater vision of the story, so I can see the story and I get to play in the story also. And also from the DAP's perspective, the app society, right? Well, I have some kind of role to play, and it's weird, it's very squeezed, and everybody's uncomfortable in their social persona because it's like narrow and every day narrower and whatnot, and you have to like, how do I like fit into it? So I have to find my way through this also. So I also get that experience, just like everybody else, but that's not my identity. That is not my God, that is not who I am, and I'm 100% clear about that. But I don't want to disregard it either. For my own self, I seek harmony. So I've studied everything. I studied the mind, I studied the layers of the mind, I studied how the mind operates, and I realized that there's something greater than the mind. Or if you don't want something greater than the mind, something at the root of the mind. I'm seeking balance for myself, otherwise I suffer. So when you're right or left, you suffer. If you're righteous or leftist, you'll suffer. I don't want to suffer unnecessarily because I don't see the point. I don't see why. And when you understand the nature of society and the nature of the game and the nature of the way of time itself, there's an order to things. So why you want to fight what's happening? When it's nighttime, it's nighttime. Why are you going to fight against night? Now I can appreciate that there's some kind of geek somewhere who wants to create electricity. That's his karma, that's his destiny. He wants to create electricity, so during the night, there's light. Respect, that's your karma, that's your destiny, and he's a servant of a system, of a mind. I have nothing against that, and I will utilize that and send my blessings to that individual. But I'm not going to devote myself to this. It's not what I am. That's not what I'm here to do. And I will not get any credit in such a way. I will not be Thomas Edison or Nikola Tesla and be praised by humanity because I'm a genius. I'm nobody. I'm no one. I'm good with that. That's the choice I made because what I seek is harmony at the end of the day. But I can take everybody's position. I've done it before numerous times in my videos. I understand the man, I understand the woman. So what's the solution? There is none. From the level you're operating at, there is none. They're going to try to create some artificial kind of solution, but it's artificially created. So if you want to look at the right, I understand what a conservative mind thinks. Of course I do. I don't want to live in a conservative society because I'm not conservative. And I understand what the so-called liberal mind thinks. And I sympathize with them, but I'm not a liberal either. I don't want to live in a liberal society. So I understand each one's position. I understand their suffering. I understand their anxieties. I understand what they want to push and what they aspire to. But society doesn't give a shit about the left or the right. That's what I try to say. There's a left wing and the right wing, but there's a bird. Who owns the bird and where the bird is flying? Y'all don't want to talk about that. And to do that requires a bigger perspective. And to understand that bigger perspective without getting into conspiratorial thinking, which scares people or it becomes like memes, you have to have a deeper understanding of metaphysics and the evolution of time and humans in time so that you can see it. And that's why I bring it down to the disease level. It is a disease. The disease can express itself in tonus, extra tension, or flask. The right or the left. And I don't care where you want to find the balance, it's shortly lived. There's a disease. And society is being guided by the unfoldment of that disease. It's the disease itself that has birthed the society. So I don't want to talk about the left side of the disease or the right side of the disease. I care about the cause, why it's there, its necessity, and where it's going. And where it's going, nothing can change it. So in its story, let's say the disease is evolving and it needs to go towards the left or to the right. Does it matter? Right? If the disease now needs to tend towards the left in order to avoid an obstacle, or in order, I don't care, let's say the road goes left. It goes left. Does it change anything? The path is one direction. Now how it's going to get there is irrelevant to me. If it needs to tend more to the right, so that's what you say pendulum. If it goes too much to the left, then it swings back to the right. And if it goes too much to the right, it swings too much to the left. And at some point it finds some kind of middle way, which is not peace and harmony. It's a harmonization at that level of the disease evolution in time. Great, I understand that. It's a favorable time because there's less noise for people, less chaos in the zoo for people. So there's more peace in the zoo. It's not peace, it's a fake peace because it's a disease. But there's harmony. The disease has found a stable point, which gives us the illusion that there's peace. It's no. The disease is boiling underneath. It's just not erupting yet. Wonderful. I understand this. I respect that. So that's why there's the right person who's, when there's too much left, then there's the right. But that's their game. I don't participate in this. There's nothing I can do because I don't believe in it. I'm here to serve people. So that's why if I see a person, a sincere person, I've met very sincere people on the left. They're intense people. Yeah, but there's a genuine sincerity there. It's out of balance. So if I can be of service to them, I help them exhale and come more into themselves to better understand themselves so that they're less out of balance. But if they're designed to be on the left, they'll be on the left. But they can be more in harmony in their leftness. And the same to the right. I'm not playing at, that's not my interest. I'm not left or right. I'm interested in the nature of the game, the root cause, and an underlying storyline that is unfolding in a greater perspective. If you really analyze people and you analyze their state, their inner state, you realize that generally people are depleted. And because of depletion, they have to go to the extreme. Left, extreme right. Extreme bad boy, extreme good guy. Because they have to feed. So it's based on a depletion. And when you go to the right, your concern, even though you say is to help people, it's yourself. You're on your own quest of your own righteousness. And people are the partisans watching you at the theater. Although you say you care about people, what you care is about your righteousness. Whether it's on the right side or the left side. So once again, the interest is not what's the issue and how do we best serve people. It's self-centered. It's me and my righteousness, me and my leftiousness. And the left needs this enemy on the right, and the right needs this enemy on the left. And in the middle, there are the people who are watching the show, partisans, cheering for one camp or the other, and nobody's getting what they really need. Because what they're looking for is a form of sustenance that is not found in this dynamic and would require a deeper thinking mind that our times do not allow or do not facilitate or do not favor. You need to go deeper, and we've made it clear the people don't want any depth. We've covered this 1,000 times. But let's cut the crap. At the end of the day, the person who's on the left is on his self-righteous quest. It's ego. And I'm not saying ego, bad ego. Because the word is very often considered bad. No, hamkar is the yogic word, means my identity. And on the left is my identity. And even if the person perfects their identity, and they try very hard, like our friend Jordan, to make it sure that there's no... It's still self-centered based. Me, my righteousness. And partisans. But the issue is at a deeper level. Then people don't want to address this. Because if you open this, it's a Pandora's box, I guess. It takes you back to the genesis of life and creation. Look how far we've gone. We don't even know the true history of the humans. But one thing we know, it starts at some point. And look at how far we've gone and how the level of unconsciousness that reigns. Well, all that is darkness. All that is the psyche that's controlling the surface. And we have no idea of these forces and how they're regulating us, and nobody wants to look. And I understand this is not a criticism. I feel chill today. So I get this. Fine. Well, it doesn't make me dumb. Not to imply that people are dumb, but they kind of are. They want to play that game. So whatever floats their boat, that's what I'm trying to say. So Kobe Bryant playing against Michael Jordan, it's a game. The left playing against the right, it seems that the scope of it is bigger. I guess it is. It's more social versus we're just in the basketball arena. Now we're in the political arena, which is a bigger arena. But it's the same. It's the same game. It's a game. Who's going to win? And when you get into politics and you understand how it's organized and lobbying and all, it's a game. When you confuse this for reality, then you're bound to suffer, aren't you? So I sympathize with people. I genuinely do. Like people are good people, and you see they give themselves to a cause, and it exhausts them and sucks them dry, and then they die in a hard condition. If it works for them, it works for them. But they suffer a lot. Was it worth it? In their brain, they will justify that it was, because your mind has to do that to protect yourself. But did you forget the world outside? Did you get what you wanted internally? Who am I to judge? It doesn't work for me. I'm clear about that. And that's the only thing that matters for you. And at the end of the day, does it work for you? If it does, congratulations. Keep it up. Try to find more harmony and do it with more fluidity, less friction, so that you can get more and pay less. If it doesn't work for you, you are, dare I say, part of the cursed ones or the chosen ones, that you must go deeper and discover a deeper reality in which you have to harmonize yourself in, that doesn't exclude this. I insist. This doesn't exclude this. I don't live here and pretend that this doesn't exist, because it affects me. I don't have control over it, and I don't want to play the game to have control over it, because I believe that a character like Jordan Peterson or whoever's on the left who's sane is much more qualified to fight those wars than me, because I don't care. These are not my fights, so that's why I feel good with my choices. You have to feel good with yours, and to each their own. But don't come and tell me that this person gets sick out of nowhere because of an invisible virus. That is, no, get the fuck out of here. So that, you see, so we can take a neutral position, but at the end of the day, I'm a doctor, a medicine man. I'm here to study disease and the suffering of people, in all the way through to the tissue and how the tissue responds. So when you want to invent that your out of balanceness, that is righteousness or leftiousness, has resulted in a disease, and you want to blame a virus, and you want to insult the intelligence of nature, now you're going to get the medicine man in me annoyed with your ass. And I'm going to tell you off. We're good. Don't fucking insult nature and her brilliance, because you are out of balance and want to pretend that this is the way. You can do whatever you want, at least for the time being, but there's still an intelligence, and I hope to the best of my capacity to voice that intelligence and respect your choices. You want to pretend that you're a guy when you're a girl. Listen, dude, if it works for you, it works for you. But I'm not dumb, and neither are you. Now we can harmonize ourselves and sympathize with one another. This is your choice. You'd like me to call you ma'am. I don't have a problem with that. That's your business. But I'm a doctor, so if I have to analyze your situation, well, listen, friend, your hormonal system is out of balance, and it's causing this and this and this and wear and tear there and this and this and this, and that's why your brain is thinking this way. So your symptom can become your reality, but I am not losing sense of reality. I don't lose myself in the disease or the out of balanceness, and I confuse it with what's true. And it may make certain people uncomfortable, but that's because you're not interested in my craft. My craft is to help people, so I have to see clearly. And in this Kali Yuga age, you have to respect, well, this person, for whatever reason, This person cannot not be out of balance. So how can we harmonize that person in their out of balanceness while presenting them doors that represent hope for something else in some kind of future? Anyways, let's not get into this. Thank you for your kind attention. I wish you the best.